Shifting focus now to West Asia, the chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency, currently in Tehran, has just made a not too startling revelation. Iran, he says, is not far from building a nuclear bomb, and Tehran is not backing down. Iran's foreign minister, in fact, has drawn a clear red line, making it absolutely clear that Tehran's uranium enrichment program is off the table when it comes to negotiations. And this stance comes even as Iran remains engaged in talks with Washington that aim to shape the future of its nuclear program.
Iran's enrichment is a real accepted matter. We are ready to build confidence in response to possible concerns, but the issue of enrichment is non-negotiable.
Araghchi's comments come as the U.S. administration came together in the White House Situation Room for a high-level strategy meeting. The meeting was about the next phase of the nuclear negotiations with Iran, scheduled for Saturday. According to a report by Axios, U.S. President Donald Trump brought his top national security and foreign policy officials together to finalize America's position ahead of the next round of the talks, debating over potential concessions that America could make or avoid. Inside the room was the entire U.S. top brass: U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Trump's Special Envoy to West Asia Steve Witkoff. And they had varying opinions, even conflicting views. On one side, Vance and Witkoff pushed for compromise. They argued that some diplomatic give and take might open a path to a final deal. But others, including Rubio and Waltz, were reportedly against this, advocating for a tougher line, one that would keep maximum pressure on Iran. Trump, for his part, has sent conflicting signals. Publicly, he says he prefers a diplomatic solution. But the president also made it clear that if diplomacy fails, military action remains on the table. He's even told aides that the U.S. is prepared to strike Iran's nuclear facilities if negotiations collapse. Despite the secrecy around the Situation Room meeting, the White House confirmed that the maximum pressure campaign continues, and Donald Trump remains adamant that Iran will never get its hands on a nuclear weapon.
Of course, the maximum pressure campaign on Iran continues, but as you know, the president has made it clear he wants to see dialogue and discussion with Iran while making his directive about Iran never being able to obtain a nuclear weapon quite clear. And the president spoke to the Sultan of Oman today, who helped facilitate these talks. I have a readout for all of you. He held a call with the Sultan of Oman today, and he thanked him for hosting the first direct meeting between the United States and Iran and emphasized the need for Iran to end its nuclear program through negotiations.
And a day after appearing to soften his stance, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff made a sharp U-turn. In a post on X, he demanded that Iran dismantle its enrichment program completely. A stark contradiction to his earlier suggestion that low-level enrichment for energy might be acceptable. And on the other side, Russia, which has been rebuilding its relationship with Washington while maintaining close military ties with Iran, signaled its willingness to mediate. In fact, the Kremlin earlier today said that it stands ready to do whatever it can to help diffuse the tensions and guide Iran and America towards a peaceful resolution. Moscow has repeatedly called for restraint ever since Trump threatened military strikes last month if Iran refused to engage on restricting its nuclear activities. So here's where things stand right now. Iran is maintaining its position on the nuclear deal. America is split between pressure and diplomacy. And Russia is offering diplomatic mediation. The question still is whether Washington will accept Tehran's stand with words or with bombs. And Saturday is almost here.